Is Scrum Master or Agile Coach role going away? So I've been off late seeing your posts in LinkedIn that there are average Scrum Masters or average Agile Coaches that are there in industry, which are making this Agile Coach and Scrum Master role becoming incompetent. And I would like to hear some of your thoughts. I've been thinking of asking you, but didn't get a chance to speak to you about this. But I felt this would be a nice forum to ask you. And as part of this, I'll try to play a little bit of devil's advocate as well. I might be asking some hard-hitting questions. I would like your honest reflection, what you think, and what is the background behind your posts in the LinkedIn as well. Are you up for it, Venkat?
Yeah, I am. I'll try my best to be transparent.
Okay, fair enough. Cool. So let's come to that $1 million question. Is Scrum Master or Agile Coach role going away?
See, I think before we answer this question, let me give you a bit of statistics, right? I don't know how many people are going to watch this, but in the last 10 years or so, definitely we have created close to 10 lakh Scrum Masters or Agile Coaches in the industry. So I'm not saying without any statistics. I know some database which I have been going through. I'm just counting the most well-known accredited bodies. I'm not counting the non-accredited bodies, the organizations that are not recognized for issuing certificates like Scrum Master or Agile Coaches, right? So if you look at the trend before a decade, it took at least 5 to 6 years for somebody to call themselves as Scrum Master or Agile Coach. But what happened in the industry in the last 10 years, if you look at, of course, we have a lot of programs. I'm not blaming any programs, but I'm trying to help people understand the importance of that role. We have created so many Scrum Masters or Agile Coaches in a very short period of time, and how many people are able to create an impact in organizations. So the post delves around that. The post is not blaming any individuals or organizations, but the post is basically helping people to reflect, what am I doing from the rest of the crowd? What is that is going to stand out from the rest of the crowd in terms of my profile so that I can create a real impact? So coming back to answer your question, I've already mentioned, definitely the average Scrum Masters or Agile Coaches will definitely go away. Their demand will decrease. But people that are really passionate and learning from the most experienced Agilists, because the transformation that we spoke in the last 5 years is totally different from the transformation that we were talking about in the past 10 years, 12 years before. Every company is digital now, and nowadays all the companies are born digital. So the way that you go and help companies transform is totally going to be different. So a demand for average Scrum Masters or Agile Coaches will certainly go down, but the demand for an excellent Scrum Master or an Agile Coach will definitely go up, in my view.
Okay, so this is where my question comes in. Somewhere someone has to start, right? So you start with somewhat you don't know, right? Maybe you can tag that as an average Scrum Master. They're just learning it. Someone has to start from there. They have to perform it, and then only.
No, I have to stop you here. Sorry. So I'm not saying anybody that is starting newly and calling themselves as a Scrum Masters are average. Please, right? Don't get into kind of misdefinitions. I'm saying someone who started their journey and they don't recognize that this is a journey and we got to travel for a long time, and they stop learning and immediately jumping into the role is what I'm trying to call as average Scrum Masters.
Again, two aspects. So one thing you're talking about is self-awareness that I am at this level. And then another aspect is starting as a Scrum Master. Okay, they start as a Scrum Master. They feel that they're doing well. Do you think they need to learn again?
Of course, right? So at least if you don't recognize that this is a journey, I would say you have to definitely realize, or you need to put some efforts to realize, what does it take to become a great Scrum Master? It is good. Everybody is starting from the day one. Even I have started my career from day one. Let me ask you a simple question, Arun, okay, if you don't mind. See, you are trying to put your kid into a school. Okay, so you just go by the school that is cheaper, or what are the other factors that you would really do a research before admitting your kid to a school?
If I'm to be honest, one thing is proximity, whichever is nearby. Within that proximity, probably good infrastructure, because when I studied, I didn't have the infrastructure. That is my perspective again. What did I miss? Probably that's a parenting thing again. You think of, hey, I need to have a school which has good infrastructure, and then curriculum, and then factors of how the faculty is experienced. So there are factors like this.
Let's say some schools are quite near to your house and that did not satisfy these criteria, but some school that you found which is little far away from your home, would you shift your home because of the quality of the school, or would you stick to the home where you stay and still go with the average?
Maybe I'll prefer the first option. I may try to still go to that school. Yes.
That is what we are calling as average Scrum Masters, Agile Coaches here, right? Just because it's an easy role, just because it's easy to gain that certification does not mean it's going to be really easy to play that role, right? If I'm not going to challenge myself in the first step, okay, how difficult is to take that certification, or how difficult is to go through the process? If I don't realize that this is going to be a journey, I have to put myself into transformative journey so that I can learn from my peers and mentors, and I need to gain a lot of experience before I call myself as a Scrum Master, right? Leave the certifications part. We get somebody is getting certification in the Scrum Mastery field or Agile coaching, whatever it is. But what kind of self-awareness that you have in you in terms of the growth opportunities that one has to have is something we need to be really reflecting. But I know this is a journey, but I'm not going to consider this as a journey. I'm fine with the low-hanging fruit that I get a certification, I'm immediately getting into the job, actually making things worse. What I'm trying to say. And many candidates come to me and say that I hit the wall, what should I do now? My companies do not want me now, and they are not feeling that I'm really valuable. I'm in a very embarrassing moment to explain them. It's a two-way road. One way is the company should understand what does it take to be a Scrum Master. And the other road is, the other way that I'm talking about is the candidates, the people that are getting into that role should really have that understanding on what does it take to be a Scrum Master. So my post is around both these factors. If you look at the post, right, I would request you to mindfully reread the post. I'm saying that the organization should also realize the value of Scrum Masters. Just because the salary expectations were low, if they go and hire somebody who's a brand new Scrum Master and expect them to be a transformation agent in big companies like a very big transformation of size, 500,000 people, I don't think they'll be able to create a good impact there.
You talked about two things. So we were talking about Scrum Masters not continuously learning. Now you also touched about organizations not understanding what to expect from a Scrum Master. So is it really to do with the organizations not exactly understanding and then trying to hire a cheaper Scrum Master? Is it to do with the organization, or is it the problem lies with the people not learning? So how do you see this? There are two aspects, right?
It's both, right?
Yeah.
It's not just, we cannot just blame the companies. Who is going to educate the companies? And who's going to make sure that I'm going to be upgrading myself towards the path towards the Scrum Mastery? So
see, again,
it's on the both sides.
Sorry to cut you there. So that's the thing, right? Not everyone will have that passion and enthusiasm to say, you know what, I'm going to continuously learn. It's up to the needs of the organization where they are. And if their environment is pushing them to learn, then they would learn, right? If the environment is saying that you're good enough with this, whatever you're doing, and I'm giving you a top appraisal every time, whatever you're doing, then that is a self-assurance for that people who's working in that industry or in whatever company. They would think that I'm doing good. Why would I spend extra penny to go beyond, right? My organization expects this, I'm giving this.
That's a fair statement, and this is where the ethical responsibility of the role comes into play. See, if you look at some of the companies, I don't want to name the companies, at least 4 to 5 companies sacked a lot of Scrum Masters and Agile coaches in the last 5 years, stating that they want to integrate their Agile process into teams. They do not want any external agents, right? They are missing a bigger picture. If they are not going to embrace change continuously, they think that agility is just a process they have to integrate into one of the teams. It's not a continuous journey. No one is going to push the teams or organizations or leaders to go and try something new. If they are not going to try something new, they are going to be in a complacency mode. It's going to be a big problem. And as agilists, what is the first thing that we are trying to call out is it's a journey. It's a never-ending journey. Just because I got a role, I get settled down in a company, right? How does it bother you? Everybody is happy. If everybody is happy, nothing is going to bother me. I'm going to be talking to only to the people that are coming and telling me that, hey, my role is going away. What should I do now? We are talking to those audience. We are not talking to the audience that are very happy with their job, very complacent with their companies, and the companies also complacent. I don't have any job to do in that organization, Arun. If they are complacent with their performance, I'm very happy. Good luck. I'm talking about the companies that are trying to continuously improve but struggling to create an impact in the industry, and they are slowly going away from the market.
Maybe it's statistical data again. Sorry to cut you off again. So you have been training people on Scrum and Agile for about 7 years now, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
I'm doing it for about 4 years, 3.5, 4 years now. So I have not seen single candidate coming and telling me, at least from my perspective, right? My class is telling me that, you know what, the ideology that you're talking about, this is how the Scrum Master should be more of a neutral person, should be challenging the organization, should be trying to create an environment for people to collaborate better, have a constructive conflict. They should have a good facilitation skills by not being biased. They should be asking they should be thought partnering with the team to bring out their thoughts, to be moving towards a solution. All these are good. We're talking about all these things, but to be honest, not even 1% of the candidates who come to the class tells us that, hey, I get this, I can go and implement this in my organization. Always we hear that this will not work in my organization. What you're speaking is little theoretical for me. That's the challenge. So that's the challenge we are facing. And we try to say it like, unless you go and implement once, everything is a theory, right? You would need to go and experiment that. But they say we don't have the power to go and experiment. So that's where I'm telling, even though people come and learn something, I don't see an environment in organizations to go and experiment it. So that's where I'm coming in. Is it not to do with organizations leveling up this game of when you need to go towards agility or agile as an agile organization, if I could put it that way, then don't they need to equip themselves, or don't they need to change their minds?
See, you are asking too many questions, right? What is your question now?
So is it not with organizations to bring that change in the organization so that the Scrum Masters can thrive?
Okay, see, let me give you another example, right? If that helps. Let's say you have tons of schools. Again, I come to the school example.
Yeah.
You have tons of schools. And how do you choose, this is the school that I want to admit my kid?
Just by doing some due diligence or speaking to some of the alumni of the schools or some of the aspects? Yes.
How many Scrum Masters or Agile coaches doing that research before they join an organization?
Maybe that's a question to be asked. Yes.
That's a question that people should answer, right? So when you talk about statistics, when I pick my Scrum Master role, I'm not saying I was a perfect Scrum Master, right? Nobody can play.
So am I, yes. Yeah.
No one is expected to be a perfectionist.
Yeah.
My question is again the same, Arun. How many Scrum Masters and Agile coaches are able to go and talk to different levels in the company? What is their influencing circle? How does their influencing circle look like? That's one of the biggest questions. And I did ask this question in many meetups. If you are exposed to, let's say if you were exposed to a C-suite levels, Are you able to initiate a conversations with them? Do you
Hmm.
know what kind of language that you need to speak to them?
Hmm.
I think this cannot happen overnight, right? So when I start my career, I cannot transform myself into go and influence different levels in the company. So I need to upgrade myself. When I say upgrade, you got to talk to mentors. You need to have mentors. And I did ask this question to many Scrum Masters. How many of you really have mentors? Most of the time I get a response, no, we don't have any mentors. And it's not just the obligation of organization to understand the role. What is organization? Organization is composed of people, right? It is also an equal responsibility of a Scrum Master or an Agile Coach as a community to come forward and explain or try to articulate the information in a way that the organization understands. If hypothetically, I'm not trying to say everybody does this, right? Hypothetically, if everyone is going to just look after, if I have a job, if I'm getting paid, that's fine. Whatever the company does, I don't mind. Then it's not going to make the situation any better.
Okay.
So being a Scrum Master takes skills and traits. We are talking about the second part, traits. Unless you pick the real skills and traits, we will not be able to create an impactful change in organizations. I'm so sorry if I'm offending anybody on this webcast, but my intention is not to offend anybody. My intention is to help them actually continually learn, because the world is going to be super exponential in the next 10 years. We were exponential. We have been exponential in the past 10 years as well, but we are going to see the change that we have never seen in the next 10 years. So are prepared for the change. Everybody does have a financial commitment. Everybody does have to pay their bills.
Yeah.
So if we wanted to mindfully think systemically, you take all the decisions in your home systemically. You said that, right? Meeting a kid into a school, moving from one state to another state, relocating, whatever you do, you take decisions systemically. You don't take only one variable into consideration. Similarly, when you choose a job opportunity, you should not take only one variable into consideration. That's my point. When you end up considering that one variable and you end up into a job, either you create more unintended repercussions, or you're going to convey this is what the role is, and that might be misunderstood in the company.
Okay, again, slightly, I agree some of your points as well, but the point here is, if I as a Scrum Master, who's going to choose my organization? That's the core thing that you're talking about, right? I as a Scrum Master should choose an organization where I can go and thrive as a better Scrum Master, or I can grow as a better Scrum Master. Is that right? That's the point that you put in, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Now, let us assume that I'm gonna wait and wait and wait, but I don't get it. But I need to survive as well. I need to go into an organization, and then I have to earn something to fulfill my basic needs as well.
Okay. Sorry to stop you here. This is what I have been trying to say in this webcast, right? Sorry if I was not so clear. I'm saying, just wait for the right opportunity. Only then you can become a great Scrum Master and you can go and serve in companies. I'm not saying that, because you are actually thinking self-centric. Where can I go and do this role better? That is what you are trying to tell me. No, I'm not that I'm saying. I'm saying, do you recognize this is a journey? When you take up an opportunity, did you speak to different levels?
Okay.
Or did you get a clarity? And coming to your point on, I'm going to just stay as is, I'm not going to move at all because I have bills to pay. If you choose this role just because you have bills to pay, then I don't think it's going to be right job for you. I understand everybody needs to make money. Everybody needs to pay a bill. What I'm trying to say is, just try to include your passion and also the money that you're trying to make out. Hey, is this a job that I love? Yes. Can I make money out of it? Yes. See, that intersection point is what I'm trying to say.
Okay. So you're talking about an ikigai where everything falls.
I'm not talking about ikigai actually. There are so many things in ikigai. I'm just saying, I'm a layman, so I'm trying to just explain like a layman. I want to make money. But can I do something that I love? Yes. Try to see a little bit of intersection among these two. If you end up in a role just because you want a better job, I've seen so many people shifting their career as a Scrum Master just because it's an easier career shift. That's going to create a lot of problem in the industry. What you're trying to do is you're actually pushing up, or you're actually kicking off a lot of Scrum Masters that are good and also expecting better CTCs. This is a systemic problem.
Yeah.
And if you take that role just because you need to pay a bill, what's going to happen? In a couple of years, you are going to get frustrated with the role because you'll not be able to move the needle. And that is going to get conveyed in companies differently, that this is what a Scrum Master can do. And that's the situation we are in today.
Okay, so let's continue our discussion probably in the next webcast with a bit more insights coming in. I'll also go and reflect whatever I've spoken to you, and then we'll come back again.
All right, thank you.
Cool. So see you everyone in the next video then.
Bye guys.
Thank you.